Good afternoon and welcome everyone. My name is Greg Brandis. I'm the Dean of St. Francis School of Law, and I am honored to welcome you to this very special occasion, both for our school and particularly for these graduates that we honor today. We appreciate you being with us on this beautiful, if warm day, and we celebrate these graduates and their accomplishments. I will remove my mask while speaking. I wanted to say to everyone, I appreciate your paying attention to safety while we are undertaking a graduation under these circumstances. And so wearing a mask at appropriate times, up to you under the circumstances. This is St. Francis's 5th graduation ceremony. Today we honor 18 graduates, and that will make the St. Francis graduate number 46 all in all. And they're getting to really outnumber us now. The days when we used to outnumber them are long gone, I'm afraid. Our large graduating group finished their work amid and despite, as we know, the pandemic and other turmoils and traumas of the last 18 months, which only makes their achievement that much more remarkable and impressive and worthy of our awe. So congratulations, graduate, on managing that. Indeed. This ceremony honors 2 graduating classes, the 2020 class and the 2021 class. And as such, we're honored to have 2 of everything. We have 2 distinct conferrals of the degree. We have 2 valedictorians. We're very excited that so many could join us, and we want to extend our good wishes to everyone who could not, and who hopefully is joining us on the webcast today. And so welcome to those of you who weren't able to be with us but are joining us virtually, and thank you for being here. We are fortunate as a young school not to have some of the more stodgy traditions that govern these ceremonies. So I hope that you'll enjoy the ritual that has evolved here at St. Francis, and I hope that you'll take a part in sort of our vibe. The vibe we want is serious but celebratory. We kind of want to strike a nice balance. So I hope that you'll be in the moment with us in trying to achieve that vibe under our circumstances today, as we acknowledge the immense hard work and accomplishments of this graduating class. For our guests who are joining us for the first time today, and to acknowledge what our graduates have been through, a few words about St. Francis. Like these graduates, St. Francis represents the vanguard of a new and more effective and affordable form of legal education. A form, by the way, that has saved the world of education since about March of 2020. So if only those other law schools had listened to us a long time ago, they would have saved themselves a great deal of trauma over the last several years. As you know, every institution of education, including higher ed, including law schools, made a pivot, is how they like to say it, to a different form of delivering education recently. And that, of course, means that word is spreading, and word is spreading about St. Francis, too. In a very short span of time, at least as we measure things in the academic world, St. Francis has undertaken to be well known, as a matter of fact, for its excellence in delivering legal education in any form, to say nothing of this new and innovative form that we have. We, all of us together, including you graduates, have made that possible. And as you go forth, you will advance the reputation of St. Francis that much further. I have every confidence every single one of you will do that. So despite what you may hear sometimes, the need for good lawyers is ever growing. Our goal is that those qualified and willing to serve the law, to contribute meaningfully to the safety and of our civil rights, to causes, both individual and collective, and to communities by law practice or by simply bringing the rigor of legal thinking to everyday private and public life. All of those people should be able to access the law, including legal education, despite economic, regional, racial, gender, or any other barriers. That is what we do here, and graduates, we are incredibly proud of your role in that as well. For our assembled friends and family, let me tell you just a little bit about our graduates today. Among this group are not only folks who have distinguished themselves in the arts and sciences, but also entrepreneurs, several of those, physicians, several of those, dentists, medical doctors, homemakers, very accomplished technologists, and others with amazing personal and professional backgrounds. I counted well over 36 degrees among the 18 degrees and certifications among the 18 graduates that we honor today. There's no other law school in the country that has that sort of graduating class. We're incredibly proud of you, incredibly proud of what you've contributed to this school and its growth and its community over these years. On your behalf, graduates, I want to thank those loved ones, both those who could be here today and those who could not, who are perhaps joining us virtually, who've contributed so much to your success today. With their continued help and support, we know you're going to go forth and do great things. So don't let them down or us down. You're going to go make a big difference out there because of them. They are the ones who helped you get to this spot, on top of all the hard work and effort that you did, of course. I would also like to thank our very talented and devoted faculty and staff on your behalf, some of whom are here today to celebrate with you. On my left is Professor Ray Chow. On my right is Professor Karen Travis, and next to Professor Travis, Micah White. Professor Michael White. Oh yes, please, let's give him a round of applause for their contribution to your great success all these years. I also want to express our appreciation to the leadership of Baker College, some of whom are also here with us today, for their incredible stalwart support of the law school and its efforts over the years. It is just my privilege and honor every year to serve and work with these fine people, and this adventure, and in this adventure, which is so profoundly reshaping the way we think about American legal education. Well, I now have the honor of introducing Dr. Jill Langen, Provost of Baker College and President of St. Francis School of Law. In addition to presiding over St. Francis, Dr. Langen has served as both President and Chief Academic Officer of Baker College Online and the Center for Graduate Studies. Would you please join me in welcoming Dr. Langen to the podium? That's going to be tricky.
I got it. Thank you, Dean Brandis. As president of St. Francis School of Law, I am honored to stand before the St. Francis graduating class of 2020 and 2021. I am so honored to be able to participate in this special ceremony. As I look out at each of our graduates, I see such joy at being here today. And I probably also see a little bit of relief. It's been a long road, hasn't it? Yep. And yes, there's been the excitement of learning, the sense of accomplishment, but that has been accompanied by hours of class time. Hours and hours and hours of studying, stress over exams, times with friends and family that has been forsaken. This endeavor is not for the weak. I am so impressed with each one of you, and I hope that you remain part of the St. Francis family as an active alum. Given how hard you have worked and how long you have waited, I will not postpone your graduation 1 minute longer. Dean Brandis, let's proceed.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Langen. Thank you for that wonderful welcome, and thank you again for being here with us today. It's also an enormous pleasure to be joined by Dr. Bart Daig, who is not only CEO of Baker College, but also the person chiefly responsible for St. Francis as a permanent part of Baker College. You see, almost 9 years ago, he took a chance on what was a pretty new and edgy enterprise at the time. I'd like to think, Dr. Daig, that it is not so much at this moment, but we'll see how it goes. It's his vision, really, and that, of course, of Dr. Langen, that all this became possible. So, Dr. Daig, thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing some thoughts with us a little bit later in our trustees' address in a few moments. I would now ask all members of the audience to please stand, if you're able, to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Professor Travis, who is also our Director of Academic Excellence and a great mentor and supporter of our students and these graduates. And if you would remove your head covers, I would appreciate it.
Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Professor Travis. Appreciate it very much. You may be seated. That feels a lot better without that hat on. Well, this is a graduation of abundance, as I mentioned before, because we celebrate 2 years of graduates and 2 graduating classes. It's now time to hear from the first of our 2 valedictorians. First, I must say that attaining highest honors of this kind is very difficult in this program. It takes real genius, displays remarkable grit, and it takes place over 4 years, requiring those things for a very extended period and a great deal of hard and voluminous work. For the class of 2020, the valedictorian is Dr. Ty Gillies. Dr. Gillies is Senior Market Medical Director for Anthem Healthcare in Southern California. Previous to this role, she was Medical Director of Clinical Services for United Healthcare. She's a graduate of the Indiana University School of Medicine and Purdue University in biology, I think it was. Yes. She has a passion for healthcare management and also for quality improvement and for managing utilization and risk in healthcare. She also works in strategy and business analysis and regularly in an area of the law very important to healthcare these days, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. That's a mouthful, but we always call it HIPAA. You've heard of HIPAA, I assume, along the way. In addition to her excellent academic record here at St. Francis, Dr. Gillies has also passed the California bar examination. And is just about ready to be sworn in as a licensee of the State Bar and member of the Bar of the State of California. But I'm telling too much of the story myself. I need to leave some of it to her. Please join me now in congratulating Dr. Gillies on her remarkable academic success and in welcoming her to the podium for a few remarks.
Good afternoon. Thank you. And allow me to begin by saying thank you. I am completely honored to represent St. Francis and the class of 2020, Jackie Cade. I was a little at a loss as to what I wanted to say today, as me standing here was quite unexpected. You kind of informed me in a little cavalier way, like what was going on. So when I told my son, hi Alex, about the speech, he said, are you going to make some regal speech about the law or virtue of practicing law? And I looked at him and I said, probably not. I'm not really pulled in that direction. I'm not really practicing yet. But what I can do is talk about my gratitude, how I feel extremely grateful for the education I received here at St. Francis and for those that supported me along the way. I felt really, after the year and a half to be here, just the thought of being here with everyone together and know that we don't see each other for the most part. These are all faces we see on computer screens, but to meet them personally is a true treasure and joy. So, I thought I would just say a few words about expressing that gratitude of my law school journey at St. Francis. And first, let me tell you about the curriculum at St. Francis. So don't be fooled. And as most of you now know about Zoom, just because St. Francis is not a brick and mortar school, it's not a cakewalk. In fact, I will argue it's like quite the opposite of a brick and mortar school. You have to come to class. There's no ditching class. St. Francis has a rigorous curriculum and schedule. Tuesdays and Thursdays are consumed by evening didactic lectures. And just because it's remote learning, you can't just chill out and just let the clock run out. No, you had to really be prepared. You had to be prepared to present case law, to discuss the legal theory at hand, how it applied, and likely answer a couple of multiple choice bar questions just thrown in there somewhere for good measure. And your camera had to be on. And so after, it had to be Professor Travis. She'll say, I don't see you. So this is after a long day of working. Most of us have full-time jobs and families. And this is before, this is before COVID, before Zoom was all the rage. We were doing this. And I count myself lucky because we're here in California. I live in California, right? But classes are Pacific Zone. How many of you guys are East Coast? Who came from the East Coast? Okay, who's Central? Anyone Central? So I'm complaining about class at 6 p.m. They were in class at 9. So let's just say it was not a piece of cake. And on top of all that, there were at least 2 discussion boards, essays, a crazy test every 6 weeks. Any free time was law school time. And that, for most of us whom are not spring chickens, required some form of support. So, and I ask you, how many of you guys are over the age of 18? So, rather it be from your family, your job, or our own St. Francis Law School professors, they had to be understanding that for most of us, this was not the path of least resistance. So with that description, I would first and foremost would like to show my gratitude for all the spouses, significant others, parents, or any special person or family member that made this particular accomplishment possible through varied forms of support. In my case, it was my partner, my best friend, my husband, Lou, and he, for me, absolutely made it possible for me to complete this program. He was and continues to be my greatest cheerleader, especially when I believe myself to be down and out. And I would also like to thank my other family members who visited me. They always, want to celebrate me and my accomplishments, so thank you. I would also like to thank the kids. I don't see many kids here, but on, school nights, we see a lot of kids. And a lot of kids got shushed. And so during class, there were many children that had to be extremely patient with flummoxed parents trying to figure out what the heck exactly a con law professor was talking about, keeping us 20 minutes past class time. Who felt like jumping out of a window when we went over class time? I would also like to extend the utmost appreciation for Professor Karen Travis. St. Francis has a host of really wonderful professors, but Karen Travis is here from beginning to end. She teaches all of our first-year law school classes, criminal law, contracts, torts. She walks us through step by step the baby bar prep, and she also walks us through bar prep. And personally, for me, she has been my mentor and really a calming force. And I'm sure you're relieved that you'll no longer be on the other end of my panic calls. But I'm sure there'll be another nervous Nellie taking my place. So, okay, who thinks Professor Travis is the best? I would also like to acknowledge and congratulate Dean Greg Brandis on the recent accreditation of the Committee of Bar Examiners of the State Bar of California. This means that most St. Francis law students now would not have to suffer through the baby bar. So for how many of us would we rather fill in the blank with anything else than to participate in the stress that is the baby bar? It's a really awful exam, and to know that all of your hard work and I know you were really involved in the efforts, and for whomever else, I don't know the particulars of it, but that is really a significant step for St. Francis. So congratulations. And last but not least, I would like to say thank you to all of my wonderful classmates. A lot of my classmates from 2020 couldn't make it for whatever reason, but gosh, you guys are here, and I've seen you guys throughout the years. And the type of student that enrolls in St. Francis is pretty different. And like Dean Brandis was saying, they come from like all walks of life. Entrepreneurs. We have someone who makes whiskey. He owns like his own liquor factory. You know, there are teachers, physicians, caterers, technical writers, and like you said, parents, homemakers. And they're not just here in California, they're all over. And sometimes we even occasionally get someone from not the United States. So I know that, and also the professors are very interesting. So I just know that some of these interactions have really led to a collective broadened perspective of the world. So I thank you, class, for that. Thanks, Kate. Thanks, Jackie. So in closing, you know, I just want to say, let's remember that gratitude is something, despite that, all the things that may be going on in our society, despite all of the cultural divides, or whatever personal challenges we may go through or face at any particular moment, gratitude can be a common ground for us all, especially after the last year and a half. But even though we are grateful for the St. Francis legal education, who is happy we are done? I'm really happy. So I know, Gita, you were saying in one of your responses, like what to do with your Tuesdays or Thursdays. Man, I got a lot to do. So again, thank you, everyone. Thank you, St. Francis. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Well, I have had occasion to introduce our 2021 valedictorian, Frederick Chernoff, before, as he has been so kind to help out the school in a number of ways with student and public events before on several occasions. Like Dr. Gillies, he has shown incredible brilliance over his time here, and we're very proud of your extraordinary accomplishments, Frederick. The extraordinary cumulative grade point average you have attained, by the way, on top of which, but I won't say the number, because we don't do that, but it does mean that you received A's on just about everything for 4 straight years. Which doesn't happen in this place. So I think he will tell you it was not the case, though, that he was able to just glide through to those results. I think he stands as an extreme example of working incredibly hard to achieve the scores that he set for himself as his goal on those assignments. He's also coming off the bar exam last week and recovering from an extensive, lengthy period of preparation for that. And when you see him, I think you'll say he looks pretty good considering, actually. I think he's doing all right. He came to law school for work in education and from the discipline of playing competitive badminton at nearly Olympic levels. He has a Master's of Education Leadership, a Master of Education in Leadership and Administration from Gonzaga, and his undergrad in psychology from the University of Calgary. He's an international student studying with us from Alberta, Canada. And as every one of his classmates would agree, he's also both smart and nice, which I think is a winning combination in just about anybody. Please join me congratulating and welcoming our 2021 valedictorian, Frederick Dennis Chernoff.
Thank you, everyone. So about 2 years ago, I had the opportunity to transfer out of St. Francis and into a Canadian law school because as great of an idea as it was to go to an international law school, I did not do that much research on what it would be like to then bring the American JD into Canada. Kind of did it as I went. And when I asked my family about what they thought, particularly my mother, she said, "Are you kidding me? That school made you." And that was the last time I thought about it. And I'm really glad that we stayed together for these 4 years, a little bit more than 4 years, actually. Now, in my experience with St. Francis, it really is the people that makes the difference. We have incredible professors. We've got small class sizes. We've got all of those advantages. But it was my classmates that really shaped my experience and helped me learn as much as I did. Of the 14 of us that were there on our first day, we've got 4 of us that stayed together the whole way through. That's Andrew, Lucy, Jimmy, and I. And we've spent a lot of time with our other classmates, but it was always us 4 together. And they are the reason that I was able to get through this. My friend Andrew, he showed me that you can do it all. He's a father. He was changing his career and improving there, and always coming to every single class prepared and with a good attitude. My friend Lucy, she showed me that you will do better if you stick up for what you believe in, and she really showed me what advocacy can look like. And my friend Jimmy, he showed me that I'll actually get a lot more out of things in life if I focus on enjoying them and spending time getting to know the people, with a little bit less emphasis and stress on, always trying to memorize everything. So you 3, you're the reason that I was able to get through the program, and I can't wait to see what life brings us next. I'm sure we're all gonna stay together and stay in touch as much as we can. But the other person I want to thank is my wife, Taryn. She's here today. I don't know where. Oh, there she is. She was there when I had the courage to admit that I wanted to apply to law school. She was there when I had to admit that I didn't get in my first try. I had a bit of difficulty translating my Canadian degree over. And she was there when I decided that I had to call the school and tell them what I thought and demand that they tell me why I didn't get in, which is when the degree mix-up came to light. She was there through the baby bar. She was there when I was laying on the couch saying I had to drop out during advanced legal writing. And she was there through the whole bar prep experience. She's here now, so thank you very much, Taryn. And so we're actually thinking about moving down to California. We'll see, just face the bar and get those results in November. And we have to say, everybody in the state has been extremely welcoming. The food alone is enough to make us move here. The people are good, but the food is, the best we've had. So, and thank you to the faculty, thank you Dean Brandes, and thank you Professor Travis. You guys changed my life, and I think you'll continue to do so. So, congratulations to the class of 2020, and congratulations to the class of 2021. Go St. Francis. Thank you all very much.
Here, here. Thank you, Frederick. Fantastic remarks. Thank you very much. Well, and as you can see, this is a very collegial group we have at St. Francis. I think it has a bit to do with the attention that they pay to working to get together on things. It's sort of casual in a fixed facility, we call them regular places, how things evolve, but they have to work at it a little bit. And it turns out really beautifully when they do. And this very talented group of folks know how to do those things. Well, of course, they were also, in addition to being wonderful, great colleagues to each other and to the faculty, they were also fairly remarkable academically. St. Francis awards academic honors for summa cum laude, magna cum laude, and cum laude based on a student's cumulative grade point, law school grade point average. You can find an insert in the program listing those who are acknowledged for their performance as either summa, magna, or cum laude. Of this group of 18 graduates, 6 qualified for one of those levels of academic honors. That's an extraordinary. 1/3 of the graduating class is able to attain very high levels of performance. So I don't think I've ever seen that happen anywhere else before. It's also important to note that they achieve this distinction. The faculty have consistently recognized that superior performance across 4 years and dozens of courses. As has been mentioned, this is not a flash-in-the-pan effort, nor is this effort at recognizing their great success flash in the pan either. In fact, there's so many honors that we won't take the time to distinguish everybody individually, but we will take the time to applaud all of those who attained it. If you don't mind standing, if you attained academic honors according to the program, please stand. Hold on. And our congratulations to those who are joining remotely as well. Well, now it's time to hear from our commencement speaker. She is one of the most important people in legal education today. Sarah Berman is Director of Academic and Bar Success Programs at the Access Lex Institute, the Center for Legal Education Excellence in Washington, D.C. Access Lex is a nonprofit that provides efforts to improve access to legal education and legal representation, the affordable quality of legal education, and Sarah leads their national campaign to improve student success and bar passage rates across all the ABA-approved law schools. That organization originated as the loan originator in the days of private student loan funding for all the ABA law schools. And so its endowment is a result of ABA law students, so its principal mission is to serve those schools. She created and now manages grant programs for that institution totaling nearly $2 million in research studies and other programmatic initiatives with law researchers, law schools, and other institutions. Sarah's been a law professor since 1998 when she joined the faculty at the University of West Los Angeles, one of our fellow California accredited law schools. She was teaching at the time, among other things, criminal law. She went on to teach at 3 other law schools: Whittier Law School in Southern California, Concord Law School, one of our peer online accredited institutions, and Nova Southeastern in Florida, where she also worked on bar exam success issues. Before moving to Access Lex, 3 years before those, she had also practiced a bit and co-founded a bar review company. So she's well aware across the entire spectrum of legal education from the very start in criminal law in the first year all the way through to passage of the bar. Sarah received her undergraduate degree from the University of California at Santa Barbara in political science, and with distinction, I should add, and an emphasis on international relations and French literature. Her law degree is from the University of California at Los Angeles, and she is admitted to the bar in California. I hope you will join me in giving Sarah a warm welcome. Sarah, join us.
There. Well, thank you, Dean Brandis. What a wonderful day. I'm so pleased to be here. What an honor. First, congratulations on surviving the bar exam last week for some, and some of you some time in that time warp that probably feels like years ago now, right? Hopefully it's a memory of a little quiz by now, right? And congratulations, all of you, for completing your Juris Doctor degree. Wow, wow. Your dedication and persistence. So many late nights poring over case books and horn books until your eyes watered and your head pounded. As a law professor, that image warms my heart. But I know you must be happy to be done. And your family, friends, significant others, people with you here today, and those in spirit all over the world, you must be thrilled that they're done. In fact, if I could ask any of you out there who can comfortably do so to stand for just 1 minute while all of you say a big thank you to them. Let's do that. Graduates, we are all so proud of you. Your studies and this precious and powerful degree that you hold are sustaining confirmations of a lifelong commitment to the rule of law. The work you have done puts you on the front lines as warriors for future clients. Your words will better people's lives. You are fiduciaries for their confidences. And in many instances, your efforts hold the key to their very survival. Indeed, they're thriving. Never let a day pass that you don't remind yourselves that what you are doing makes a difference. So I join here with everyone in thanking you for dedicating yourselves in service to our nation as lawyers and officers of the court. As is the tradition at graduations or commencements, as you commence your lives as lawyers, I'll share a bit of teaching. I don't dare call it wisdom or advice. Most of you have far more experience in the real world than I do. But I'll share just a little bit what I've picked up from decades in the profession. And I'm boiling it down to 4 pillars. I call them my 4 pillars of excellence. And I remind myself about these every day. A pillar, as we all know, is a tall vertical structure of stone, wood, or metal used to support a building. People who reliably provide essential support are also known as pillars. A pillar of the community, for example. The 4 pillars of excellence that I'm going to share, I hope, will provide essential support for you to help you in that lifelong commitment to law. And just as I picture pillars as great solid structures supporting massive buildings, so I picture these 4 essential pillars of excellence providing guidance, guiding principles to you, powerful support in your future as legal professionals. They are 1, preparation, 2, performance, 3, practice, 4, professionalism. And I'll tell you what I mean by each one very briefly. First, preparation. It's simple, right? But how often do you all hear people say, oh, you're succeeding at everything. You're a natural, right? The more I live and the more opportunities I have to work with and listen to and watch the most accomplished leaders in our profession, the more I see them prepare. It may all look effortless, but it's not. Preparation may be solo, it may be with colleagues, it may be online, it may be in person, it may be late at night, it may be early in the morning, but ours is a career where most often we do not wing it. Second, performance. Now, I mean this word more in the contract sense. You remember formation, performance, breach, damages. Am I triggering bar exam nightmares? Sorry. But the contract's reference may help you to picture what I mean by performance. Not a showy or glossy sort of thing, but delivering, doing what is required. Ours is a profession where showing up matters. In the legal education world that you're leaving, there was often no right answer. Remember, that was probably one of the hardest things as a law student to grasp. But clients do win and lose. If you are not there, on time, doing, delivering, performing, your client is typically not being served as well as they could be. That's on you. You're the professional. You must perform. Third, practice. We call it the practice of law, and I intentionally place practice after performance to remind us all that the practice never ends. We don't become a lawyer and are done. We never get perfect at it. We continue growing, learning, and adapting. Clients change, facts change, technology changes, and there, I know you are leaders. You didn't pivot to online learning during the pandemic. You invested in our global interconnected future as leaders in distance communication and distance lawyering. It will never faze you if a colleague or client is next door or on the next continent. They say that the fight for justice never ends. The practice of law never ends either, and it's always changing. That is part of your sustained commitment to lifelong lawyering, lifelong learning, and lifelong adapting. Last but not least, the fourth P, the fourth pillar, professionalism. This is a profession.
has never been and never will be just a job. It's who you have become, and it's who you will be forevermore. It is part of your identity. You will find yourselves continually taking actions, not because someone told you to or because it's part of your job description. It's because in your professional judgment, it's the right thing to do. Your professional judgment and your professional reputation are your greatest assets. Protect them. Think today about how hard you worked to get this degree and keep that thought in mind forever. If someone asks you to do something or say something unethical, and it is highly likely that someone will along the road, trust me, refuse. It's simple. It's that simple. Jobs can be replaced. Your law license, you must protect. And civility is part of the professionalism in my book. There's no need to bully. Prepare, perform, practice, and do so with dignity. Force, yes. Deception, no. Assertiveness, strength, power, yes. Threats, lies, verbal abuse, no. Our profession is a closely connected one. You will encounter people again and again and again in your professional careers. Remember them and know that they will remember you. Treat them as you wish to be treated, and for yourself, privately, keep a confidential list just for you of people that you'd really like to work with again and people not so much. Not for the purposes of spite or revenge. Just keep that list handy to remember when someone acted unethically or rude or in an underhanded manner, because they might do it again. And when they come to you needing something or wanting something, or if you encounter them in a situation where you must rely on them, you'll protect yourself and your client accordingly. Professional relationships matter. Your dean was my boss, dean of the law school where I served for 15 years. And while we may have disagreed on some things, I don't remember, sure we must have, we have always been the most respectful of colleagues, and how lucky I am that we remain the dearest of friends so many years later. And because of that respectful, productive working and wonderful working relationship, since then we've chosen to take on a number of professional projects together, volunteering for advancing causes, writing articles, planning conferences. You will have similar professional opportunities on the job and volunteering as a professional. Jobs will change. You will need or be asked to provide references for other people. Remember how they treated you, how they treated their clients, how they treated their colleagues. Pay attention and know that they will remember you. So I ask you, spend a moment sometime today, find a quiet place and ask yourself, how do you want to be remembered as a lawyer? You've all had other careers, you've all done all these other things, but now you're a lawyer. How do you want people to look back on you years from now as a lawyer? Think about that. It's your opportunity to do that. And that's it. Those are the 4 pillars: preparation, performance, practice, and professionalism. Picture for a moment our Supreme Court. Up those long steps stands the building most revered in our profession, supported on the outside by great, strong stone pillars, and inside by the pillars of justice. The 4 pillars I gave you today, I hope and I trust, will support and sustain you, and they will hold you strong, just as those pillars of solid stone hold upright our greatest monuments, our most important institutions. So once again, thank you for your dedication to a lifetime of lawyering, and the heartiest and most heartfelt of congratulations.
Wow, thank you, Sarah. You know, you are an inspiration. Sarah mentioned some professional collaborations. Sarah was the lead author on an article I joined that probably contributed to the fact that you were able to take the bar exam online, because we're quite sure that it influenced the chief justices of most of the state Supreme Courts to allow that during the pandemic. So for those of you who thought that was a great thing, give us credit. For those of you who thought that was not such a great thing, it was probably just something somebody else came up with. Don't pin it on us. And many other collaborations, including this one, Sarah. Thank you so much for being a part of our beautiful day today. Such an honor and pleasure to have you here. Thank you. Now it's my pleasure to invite Dr. Daig to the podium, CEO of Baker College and a member of our Board of Trustees. Dr. Daig is truly one of the great minds behind St. Francis. Together with Dr. Langen, he spent days and nights, I know this personally, working through schedules in the days of the unaccredited world when it was so complicated, which all of you remember, most of you remember being a part of. Somebody had to figure all that stuff out early in the life of the school, and Dr. Daig and Dr. Langen were the ones who were taking care of those things. Writing the accreditation reports, pounding through the regulations, all of these things. We wouldn't be here without you today, Dr. Daig. So please join me in welcoming him, Dr. Bart Daig, CEO of Baker College.
I feel a bit inadequate standing in front of this class with all of your professional accomplishments and then adding this to your to the feather in your cap with all the things that you've done. What an impressive class. I know it's hot and people are ready to get moving, so I'll keep this to about an hour. Actually, I'm going to skip what my comments are that I had planned, and I think it's just more important to hear from the students or the graduates and their comments. The pain that you went through the program makes me feel good in the sense that Dean Brandis and Karen's work, they're the heart and soul of St. Francis, and it's their drive every day to push you to get through the program, put the hard hurdles in place, make it challenging, and understanding you guys recognize that rigor. I feel good about what we have. So with that, Greg, that's all I'm going to say today. I know that it's been a long day out here. So again, I'm extremely impressed. I walk away proud of the graduates of St. Francis, and I would stack up this graduating class against any graduating class in the country. So I applaud you, and great job.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being part of it, and thank you for your leadership and our future. It is truly an honor to be a part of this, and with my colleagues, my wonderful colleagues who are with us or not with us today. Well, graduates, we're getting pretty close to the big moment. Are you getting ready? I bet you are. The Juris Doctor degree you received today represents the recognition by the school and its faculty that you successfully completed this rigorous academic program designed by the faculty to prepare you for entry into the profession of law, and for carrying the burden of trust placed in attorneys and counselors at law by the most important people in the legal system, and that's the clients we serve, right? It's that trust that matters. The people law is meant to protect, whether we're guarding their rights or redressing their grievances, are the important ones that we came here to serve. Only when the faculty is satisfied that you have met their demanding standards can you walk across this stage and get this degree. So bearing that in mind, at this time, I would like to ask Professor Travis to offer a few remarks on behalf of the faculty, regarding the graduates and their accomplishments here. Professor Travis?
Thank you all. It is my great pleasure and privilege to represent the St. Francis faculty in saluting the classes of 2021. But I want to start, as many have referenced, by congratulating the graduates' families and friends for supporting them and surviving the past 4+ years. So thank you all. You've probably learned more about the law than you ever imagined being subjected to in their Thursday and Tuesday night classes. And we've learned more about the graduates' families because we've seen you. We've seen you and our graduates' pets and friends lurking in the background, hoping the class would be over while we were all on camera. Seriously, around 7 years or so, when we first started to imagine an elite online law school, I had in mind and hoped that one day we would graduate adults of your competency, diligence, perseverance, creativity, and intellect. Online law schools were still viewed somewhat skeptically in around 2014, and particularly schools of our caliber, because there just weren't any. And we've survived together, and you've shown all the doubters that this can be done and done well. And here you are. I'm thrilled to have participated and helped to guide you all on this journey. It's especially sweet that we have survived a pandemic and now have our first graduating class from St. Francis as a California accredited law school. So it is an honor and a dream come true to have California recognize our school and the achievements of our students like you that have enabled it to happen. So thank you. So how did our graduates come to St. Francis? From what you've heard from everywhere. From students who are looking for an innovative, high-quality online law school to enable you to learn the law while meeting the obligations of your personal and professional lives. Some of you wanted to practice, and some sought the knowledge of the law to help you grow in your chosen profession. Some just gave law school a try, not knowing if you would succeed, but you all are here. I have had the experience of living through the baby bar with all of you back in the old days when bar exams were administered in person. All of you were required to come to California, and I had the joy of getting to know each of you personally, especially when we hung out in the bar at the Sheraton after the exam. That exam was a turning point for many of you when you reached validation that you could do this. You could succeed on a rigorous exam that overall has a dismal passing rate. Several of you recently endured the California bar, and some have yet to have that pleasure, but we hope and pray that ultimately you will have the same success that you had on the baby bar. Since this is your graduation, I wanted to acknowledge very briefly all of you that are in attendance today and give a big shout out to the graduates who could not join us in person, but who hopefully can catch the live stream. And that is to John Pappas, Carly Taylor-Fish, Cindy Gia, Tim Fitzgerald, Tanya Lewis, who I understand is here in a cutout form, and Hunter Gamble. So for those of you who are here, I wanted to just make one or two comments about my observations and experience with you over the years. And Dean Brandis has graciously talked about your background, so I'll skip that part. But let me start with our valedictorians. Taye, you always hold yourself to such high standards, and you always meet them. In doing so, I remember talking you off a ledge or two around the time of the baby bar, and maybe the bar, when doubts started to take over. Thank goodness you listened to me and took the baby bar successfully, and here you are today. I also had the pleasure of seeing you in action in supervising your externship, and you are so capable, and I know you will use your legal knowledge to do great things. Congratulations. Thank you. Frederick, I had the chance to kind of look through your files, and I saw a description of you by, and it was a good one, by one of the people that gave you a letter of recommendation. And that individual said that Frederick sees problems as opportunities and challenges. And he is destined to create meaningful change in the legal arena and educational systems if he so chooses. I've got two short examples of what I consider to be the quintessential Frederick, who after getting his baby bar score back, he proudly announced to his family that he understood that there was no academic challenge that he couldn't face if he was willing to suffer enough. And I hope you've suffered enough at this point. And also in the baby bar prep class, he was initially so pleased to be receiving 65s on essays. And I know to our audience, that just sounds like a terrible grade, but on a bar exam, it's not. It's barely passing. So Frederick was proud of himself until Andrew Felch casually mentioned that he was pulling 85s. And Frederick just couldn't let that go, knowing that Andrew was just so smug about the 85s that we were giving him. And those were my grades. I don't give 85s, but I did. And he managed on the baby bar not only to get in the 80s, but Frederick is our reigning champion for the highest scale score of anyone in the school on the first year law students exam. So Andrew is one of a kind, and I mean that in the best way. He came here as a scientist, a holder of several patents, and his goal was to become a better legal advocate and to be able to interact more effectively with legal counsel. And you've certainly met and exceeded that goal. I remember reading Andrew's essays in the baby bar prep class and being really stunned by the sophistication of his arguments and thinking, I better upgrade my sample answers, because he thought of things that I just would never have thought of. Unfortunately, Andrew, you had to do that in an hour on the baby bar and the bar. So if I contributed anything to your immense talents, it's teaching you how to finish those essays in an hour. So I look forward to the great things you're going to do with your law degree in your chosen industry. Congratulations. who I think is I still have a photograph taken of you, me, I think Andrew, Frederick, and Jimmy in the Sheraton bar after the baby bar, and thinking that we could not get together as diverse a group as you, all talented in your own different individual ways. I know, Lucy, that a twist of fate brought you to St. Francis. You had experience on a legal case, and at the time, I think you told me you hated lawyers, and you hopefully overcame that now that you are one. And it sparked your interest in the law, and you changed your attitude, hopefully, about the law and lawyers in general. I know, Lucy, you've overcome many personal adversities in the past few years, and I hope that your legal knowledge gave you some tools to fight your fights. You are so talented and such a fighter. I expect you to do great things as an attorney in the nonprofit world in Northern California. Your skills are so needed, and I can't wait to hear about your successes. Jackie, one of the most fun things I remember from the baby bar was having dinner with your group after the exam, and then of course taking Kate to the airport. But that I know that you was kind of the organizer in the group, and you organized that dinner and just made it so delightful. And I also know that you came to St. Francis at a time when you felt you were pretty old, joined the club, to be changing careers from teaching and going back to school. And as you said, what got you through the rigors of law school and enabled you to do an amazing balancing act of full-time work and a large family was your peers, from whom you have great support. You were all in the same boat and ended up with some very dear friends. So you wanted me to acknowledge some of your professors, Michael Santana, James Woodruff, Ray Chow, and Michael White, among others. And also, as a fellow Orange Countier and Southern California girl, I hope that I will see you as a fellow member of the California and Orange County Bar very soon. So, congratulations. Cindy. Cindy is really a unique student in our program, and originally from Costa Rica, an immigrant with English as a second language. Can you imagine taking the bar exam with English as a second language? What a daunting challenge you have succeeded at. And she's let me know that Latino lawyers account for less than 5% of all American lawyers, and Latina immigrants don't even make their way to the ABA stats. So, Cindy, you will be a great representative not only of St. Francis, but of women and women like you in the law. We're so glad that you chose St. Francis, and I've had the privilege of watching you find your voice, gaining confidence. You kept going after the baby bar, kept your head down, did the work, and I am so proud. I think the legal profession will be very lucky to have you. Cindy also wanted me to recognize, which I know we don't do enough, all of our St. Francis administrative staff that have helped you all through navigating our systems over the years. So, to our mothers. And you shared when you were about 9 or 10, your mother said to you, Kate, you ought to be a lawyer. And you probably didn't realize that somewhere in there was a compliment, though it's not clear she meant that at the time. Your goals were to build a network, learn to think like a lawyer, and grow your leadership potential by developing your communication skills. I hope that those goals have been met. And when I describe your experience at St. Francis as enlightening, shifting your worldview from professors and classmates, you describe it as trying, done, and finally successful. So congratulations on passing the October California Bar Exam. One fun fact about Cade is that, Frederick, he has the highest grade of any St. Francis student on the MBE section of the baby bar. And that would be noteworthy in itself. For those of you in the audience, it's just an impossible, evil multiple choice test. But what is remarkable is Kay came out of the test. I was sitting there, and he told me, I think I missed these questions. Now, this is a 100-question test. And so he rattled off about 10 questions and then got a 90% out of 100 on the exam. So photographic memories are good tools to have and will continue to serve you well. So congratulations. Gita, if I think of one student who has challenged me in so many ways to think of the world and education differently, it is you. You truly are a unique and creative thinker. And all joking aside, since 2015, Gita and I have traded 250 emails. So feel free to continue to email me. But Gita came to St. Francis with a PhD and many accomplishments, but you also challenged yourself to take on law school. And you have triumphed over personal challenges, connectivity issues galore, and has grown so much in the intellectual discipline and rigor of law school. I just want to briefly quote one email that you sent to me way back in 2016 that actually affected me greatly. When you were explaining to me why you went to law school, you said, law school for me is about learning the nuances of the law, which is a tool and a weapon of immense power in life. Before I started to understand the law, I had no idea how to fight for my rights. There was a sense of helplessness and frustration at the way things were. While I may choose not to exercise those rights that the law teaches, it teaches me how to understand and value them. This is the most valuable gift of this learning. So I am so proud that you chose us, and I know you will use that legal knowledge in a meaningful way to help your community. We will miss you. And lastly, before we get to the three students who are just about to graduate, and that is my friend Denise. Denise came to St. Francis, a very accomplished person in the nursing industry, a bachelor's, 2 master's degree, many years of management and risk management experience. You chose, and I love this, she chose St. Francis, as many of you might have, based on the online reviews. And what she likes is she saw postings from people who applied but were not admitted. So she figured from that we were a quality school. And I think we can all agree that we are a quality school. Your law school journey has been a tough one, but I can't think of anyone with more fortitude and perseverance. I admire you, I consider you to be a friend, and I know law school was on your bucket list, as it was for many of you here, and what a joy to have helped you complete it. Congratulations. So our three that are just about to embark on the bar prep class and then graduate. I want to start by giving Lynn Westbrook the Perfect Attendance Award. She never missed a class. She attended, like many of you, from all over the world. On the same day she had major surgery, and one time from the ER. And while I'd like to characterize Lynn's journey as one done with grace, commitment, and intelligence, she described it as near breakdowns and pure grit, but always commitment. So her point in going to law school at this age was to show her daughter and sons that you can follow your dream. And she figures after they were captive to her classes at home, in the car, for 4 years, they probably have a head start in learning the law. So, congratulations. And Jimmy. I always think of you, Jimmy, as the ultimate New Yorker. And not just because I love your accent, takes one to know one, but for your grit, perseverance, intellect, and dedication to law school and your family and your family's business. Jimmy came to St. Francis with a bachelor's in legal studies, and I was looking at his transcript the other day in a vain search for a B, but I couldn't find it, so he came pretty much with all A's. And as the son of 2 successful immigrants, he's inherited his family's restaurants in New York, I have to try them, real estate development, and came to law school to get the tools to be able to succeed in managing those businesses. And somehow you have managed to do it all and be successful in your other life. And just one fun fact about Jimmy, he is a reserve police officer, I think it is, patrolling New York Harbor as a first responder, among the other. And then finally, Jasmine. Jasmine came to St. Francis as an accomplished pharmacist, and I have just had the pleasure of seeing Jasmine blossom in law school. I think being successful on the baby bar in the first shot, persevering in law school despite some breaks and difficulties, and this visibly has given you confidence, I think, as well as intellectual growth. You said that you chose to continue in law school despite some hardships because it gave you a heightened sense of resilience, tenacity, focus, and commitment within yourself. And Jasmine's words were, "The gift of learning was in the struggle." So I am so proud of you and the growth you're shown in your externship now, so congratulations. Just 1 or 2 closing comments, and this is not a lawyer's 1 or 2, this is really 1 or 2. All the graduates, you have all given St. Francis its spark, its energy, and its driving sense of purpose and mission. So use your legal training to do good work. I want to quote someone who can say that sentiment much better than me, and that is my legal hero, the notorious RBG. As she says, if you want to be a true professional, do something outside yourself. To make life a little better for people less fortunate than you, that's what I think a meaningful life is. One lives not just for oneself, but for one's community. So use your knowledge to fight for the things that you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you. I think that's the key for successful ethical lawyers. Do it in the way that will lead others to join you. Good luck to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Travis. Beautifully done. You really captured them, I think, the essence of this wonderful group without getting anything too embarrassing, I don't think. Nothing too embarrassing happened along the way. Held that for the party afterwards. Yeah. All right, graduates, the big moment has finally arrived. Hooray. We will first confer the degrees, and then we will ask each graduate to come forward to the stage to receive diplomas and be hooded with the academic honors and regalia that they are now entitled to wear. For our audience, the practice of wearing this garb out in the sun extends back at least as long as there has been higher education, to the Middle Ages. Frankly, it was practical in origin. They used to put schools in big stone buildings in Northern Europe where they were poorly heated. And so the faculty adopted this method of wearing this garb for practical reasons to keep warm. And of course, faculty being herd animals, it caught on. And then we started to distinguish ourselves in various ways with other additions to our regalia that mean certain things. There are three important things to know about the tradition. Number one, the traditional color for law robes is purple. So you see a lot of purple around the room, and that's because that's the law color, not just because we think purple is pretty. The second is the hood colors, in addition to the purple lining, are distinctive based on the institution of higher learning. And the ones that our graduates will be hooded with today are red and white, which are our Baker College colors. The third is that your graduate will today wear this hood and colors henceforth at any such graduation of which they are a part, unless and until they attain another higher degree from another institution. So graduates, you have that to work on. If you want to change to a different color or a fancier robe, but take good care of the hoods and you'll get used to seeing them. Will the 2020 graduates please stand? The Juris Doctor degree signifies that a person has completed a comprehensive and rigorous course of study in the subject matter, principles, and skills necessary to be an effective lawyer and contributing member of the legal profession. Completion of the Juris Doctor program is something that takes talent, intellectual curiosity, and commitment. Congratulations to each of you today on your accomplishment. By the authority vested in me and on behalf of the faculty of St. Francis School of Law, I confer on you and all the other JD graduates listed in the program who have met the program requirements the degree of Juris Doctor with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining. Congratulations. Will you please stand up? All right, please be seated. Now, will the 2021 graduates please stand? The Juris Doctor signifies that a person has completed a comprehensive and rigorous course of study in the subject matter, principles, and skills necessary to be an effective lawyer and contributing member of the legal profession. Completion of this Juris Doctor requires incredible intellectual curiosity, talent, and commitment. Again, I congratulate you on your success and your accomplishments. By the authority vested in me and on behalf of the faculty of St. Francis School of Law, I confer upon you and all the other JD graduates listed in the program who have met the program requirements the degree of Juris Doctor with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining. Congratulations. Please be seated. Now, will the graduates now come forward as your name is called to receive your diplomas and to be hooded? And I would like to ask if my faculty colleagues, Professor Chow and Professor White, would care to assist in the hooding of our graduates. And masks on, I think, are appropriate for this part, except when we're taking the photos, if you have them. What we will do is present the diplomas, and then we'll move to this side, and if you join Professor White on this side, to place the hoods. Now, a couple of folks did not get hoods this time around, so we're going to pretend that we did them, and we'll make sure the hoods are delivered as they should be. So what we'll do is call the names, and then you'll come forward to receive them. And Professor Travis, I wonder if you'd be so kind as to call the names. The list is here, and I think you know who's here and who's not.
I believe so.
And we're beginning with the 2020 graduates.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay. Taye Gillis.
Hey, Ty, the way we do this is I hand this to you. We sort of shake hands for the photograph. Congratulations. Now, there's an earth. Here we go. We go that way. We go over the top like that. And we straighten. We short people. Our really tall graduates probably need to help us by doing a little bit of that to get the hoods in place with it.
We're going to have to go for 2021 for shorter ones. Jackie Watson.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You take that next, and we stand together.
Can I take one without my
You can, please.
Because I like my chickens.
We can always close again later. Congratulations. There you go.
I'm going to take Kate.
You're going to take Kate. Well done. All right. Go ahead.
Cade Weston.
There you go. Well done.
And now, 2021 grads, Frederick Chernoff. Andrew Felch.
Oops, that's yours. Too many.
Cindy Rivera.
Well done.
Denise Russell. Jimmy Sands.
There we go.
Jasmine Singh.
Of course. Congratulations.
Geeta Swami. Lucy Vogel.
Almost there.
And Lynn Westbrook.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the graduating class of 2020 and 2021 St. Francis School of Law. Well, that was quite an event, quite a marvelous time. I'm going to do a little tradition that I like to do. Makes a statement about our law school. It goes fast. Those of you who are a son or a daughter, please stand up. Okay, good. They got that one right. That was the trick question. All right, now when everybody who's a parent, please face the audience and wave at your kids if they're here. And if they're not, just do it anyway. Wave at someone's kids. There you go. A lot of parents in the audience. Terrific. Now, are there any graduates who are grandparents? If we do have any, would you please remain standing while everyone else is seated? Well, not this time. Oh, or not willing to admit it, possibly. That's interesting. So it changes from time to time. We just don't know. All right, it's always fun to see how that turns out. Again, it's the people who have been with them on this journey that we appreciate so much. Well, we will take a few minutes at this time to collectively witness the important final step on the journey to law practice, the oath of admission of one of our St. Francis graduates. You've already heard a bit of her story, as she is our 2020 valedictorian, Taye Gillies. It's important, I think, to remember that Taye completed her degree among these unprecedented challenges especially for people in healthcare during the 2020 pandemic. To say that passing the bar exam in the midst of all that was an accomplishment doesn't even begin to describe it. So we are so pleased to celebrate with you today this last step on the journey, the fact that you passed the exam and all the other stringent requirements for admission. And today, you are ready to be sworn in as a licensee of the State Bar of California in our presence. Thank you for doing that with us today. We appreciate it. To administer the oath, joining us today is the Honorable Harvey A. Silberman of the Superior Court, County of Los Angeles, where he also served as a commissioner for several years. He normally presides over a family court right here in Pasadena and devotes a great deal of his free time to neighborhood legal services of LA County, working to prevent domestic violence and provide legal services to the many very vulnerable populations in the county. He began his working life as a television writer, but found his calling in the law. He's a graduate of Wesleyan University and the University of Southern California, where he also taught for many years. Please join me in welcoming Judge Silberman and thanking him for being with us today. I will turn over to the ceremony to Judge Silberman at this time.
Well, this is great. Thank you for inviting me. This is the second time that I've been privileged enough to join in the festivities, and I congratulate you all. It's a remarkable achievement. And please just remember that ultimately, it doesn't matter where you go to law school. You could go to Harvard, you could go to USC like me. You can go anywhere. What makes you a good lawyer is your commitment to righteousness, the size of your heart, your commitment to the law, and your respect and caring for your fellow man. So as you leave on your journey, I wish you all the best of luck. And if you over in the Pasadena courthouse, please come say hello. All right, who are we swearing in? Taye, we're swearing in. Come on up. Do you have your card?
No, I don't have my card.
You don't have your card.
I do apologize.
Okay, well, because I got to sign that card.
Yes. So, Your Honor, since the card has not arrived, if we don't want to do this today, that's quite all right. I do have the oath, so the oath itself is here.
I'm happy to do the oath, but they won't accept it without my signature.
Right. And then
So it's up to you whether you want
I'll
to.
do it.
You do it.
there's a procedure for
You can go back
there's a
way.
procedure for now for virtual oaths, so we
Okay.
can
Or
shout
else you
out
can
the-
stop by the courthouse
signing.
and pop in
And do
and
it
say
again.
hi, and I'll sign it there. All right.
There's the oath.
All right. If you'll raise your right hand and state your name for the record.
Taye Jill.
Okay. And repeat after me.
Sure.
I solemnly swear
I solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of an attorney
the duties of an attorney
and counselor at law
and counselor at law
to the best of my knowledge
to the best of my knowledge
and ability.
and ability.
As an officer of the court,
As an officer of the court,
I will strive to conduct myself
I will strive to conduct myself
at all times
at all times
with dignity,
with dignity,
courtesy,
courtesy,
and integrity.
and integrity.
Pending my signature, let's welcome the new lawyer. I'll sign it during the week. Would you mind signing? All right. Congratulations to you all.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Wow. Congratulations. Very exciting. Graduates, you could remain standing if you want to, because this isn't going to take very long. It's time. It's about time. Congratulations again, Taye, and your success. We look forward to much in the future from you. I did not ask Dr. Jill, pardon me, to prepare anything to say for this part. Do you want to make any remarks? No. All right.
It's hot.
It's hot. So it's time to celebrate. This concludes the formal ceremony. We would appreciate the audience remaining in their seats during the recessional. We look forward, though, for you joining us at the reception honoring the graduates that immediately follows. You'll find food and drink, most importantly drink, in the ballroom across the hall, and you're welcome to enjoy it in any part of this downstairs area of the facility. This 5th St. Francis School of Law commencement is adjourned.